Hello students, this video lecture is an initiative taken by Shet Vidya Mandir Junior College of Commerce and Science. This video lecture is for 12th standard commerce students and today we'll see the features of equity shares. Students, till now in learning many concepts we have seen equity shares, but in this video lecture features of equity shares will explain equity shares in detail. Equity shares are also known as ordinary shares. Companies Act defines the equity shares as those shares which are not preference shares. This definition reveals that the equity shares do not enjoy preference for dividend, that is, no priority in dividend. The equity shares do not have priority for repayment of capital at the winding up of the company, which we have seen in learning capital structure. Students, equity share is one of the most important source of capital. As said in earlier lectures, it is always advisable for a new company to raise capital through equity shares. Because of its features, it supports the company at initial stage. A person who purchases equity shares are called as equity shareholder. These shareholders, they do not have any preferential right for payment of dividend and even at repayment of capital. Equity shares are given dividend at the fluctuating rate, that is, the rate of dividend depends on the profits of the company and the rate of dividend is recommended by the directors or the board of directors. Equity shareholders enjoy voting rights. They can also participate in the management of the company. Equity shareholders has a power to elect the director. At the same time, they can remove a director. The nature of equity share capital is permanent. Equity share capital cannot be refunded during the lifetime of the company. Only in case when the company buybacks its equity shares. Equity shares is also called as risk capital as the equity shareholders has no priority in receiving the dividend and even in receiving the capital back at winding up event. The investors who are ready to take risk invest in equity shares. There are also many benefits in purchasing equity shares as the equity shareholders can get offer of rights issue and bonus shares. These two concepts we'll see in future. Equity shares are of two types. Equity shares with normal voting right and equity shares with differential voting right. Now let us see the features of equity shares. Our first point is permanent capital. Equity shares are irredeemable shares. Irredeemable means not to be paid back and redeemable means pay back. When the shares are issued and the amount of capital is collected from equity shares, it is not refundable back by the company during its lifetime. However, a shareholder can sell his shares on his desired will, but the company will refund the capital back only at winding up of the company. That means when the company closes down. So, equity share capital is a long term and permanent capital of the company. Our next point is fluctuating dividend. As I have explained you in the introduction, the rate of dividend is recommended by the board of directors as it depends on the performance of the company, the profits of the company. If the company earns more profit, high dividend is paid to the equity shareholders, and if the company earns low profit, low dividend, and if the company has no profits, then no dividend. The board of directors of the company also have an option to postpone the dividend, and the equity shareholders, they cannot compel or they cannot make the company to compulsorily declare and pay dividend. This means the income of the equity shareholder is uncertain and irregular. Rights. Equity shareholders enjoy certain rights. Right to vote. It is one of the basic rights of equity shareholders to vote in any matter, as they can participate in the management of the company. They can vote and elect the directors of the company. They can even alter the clauses of memorandum of association and even alter the rules and regulations written down in articles of association. Second right is right to share and profit. It is a primary and important right of equity shareholders to receive the dividend as and when the company is earning huge profit or more profit. However, if the company is not earning profit, they can't give dividend to equity shareholder. But when the company makes huge profit, the equity shareholders has a right to claim for the dividend or for the part of the profits, as dividend is the part of undistributed profit. Right to inspect books. In explaining the feature of share in previous video lecture, I have explained you rights to inspect books. The equity shareholders have a right to inspect statutory books of their company. Statutory books such as transfer books, register of members, list of proxies lodged, and even they can ask for a copy of any required information by paying some small nominal charges. Right to transfer shares. Students, as you all know, transfer of shares means selling of shares. Equity shareholders enjoys the rights to sell his shares on his will or on his desire. He can sell his part of the shares he owns, or he can sell all the shares he owns by following the procedures of articles of association. Our next point is controlling power. The control of company is in the hands of equity shareholders. They are also called as the real masters of the company, as they have exclusive voting rights. They can use these voting rights in electing board of directors, and also they can remove any board of director by this power. As they can participate in the management of the company, they can control and take decisions in majority of the meetings, especially in the general meetings of the company. Even the equity shareholders has a power to declare the rate of dividend. However, it is recommended by the board of directors. It is declared by the shareholders, the equity shareholders. Risk. As till now, we know that equity share capital is a risky capital due to its features. The equity shareholder bears the maximum risk in the company. So, they are also called as shock absorbers or risk takers. When the company is in financial crisis, like this corona situation is a financial crisis for many of the companies, the income of the company falls, and so the rate of dividend also goes down. The value of equity shares depends on the performance of the company. So, when there is a downward swing in the market or in the economy, the equity shareholders has to bear a lots of risk. In such situation, even if the company winds up, the equity shareholder may not get anything. That will be a capital loss for them. No charge on assets. Like the debentures and the loan from banks, the equity shares do not create any charge over the assets of the company. This feature makes equity share capital as risk capital. Charge on asset means a company has to keep some asset aside in front of the loan or debt which they have taken from the outsiders or the creditors. So if they are not able to pay back, they have to sell this asset and pay the debt. Bonus issue. In bonus issue, equity shareholders are issued more equity shares free of cost. That issue is called as bonus issue. These shares are issued as a gift to equity shareholders. These are issued out of accumulated profits, that is, the reserves. Bonus shares are issued in the proportion to the shares held. For example, the company can issue bonus shares in a ratio of 2:1. That means if a person holds 2 equity shares, he will receive 1 equity share as a gift. This benefit is only for equity shareholders. Likewise, there is one more benefit option for equity shareholder, that is right issue. In future, when a company needs more capital, more funds for expansion purpose or for repaying any debts, company can collect more capital by issuing more equity shares. But the issue option is firstly given to the existing equity shareholders. This is called right issue. Market value. As we know, the market value is determined by the performance of the company in the market. If the company is earning a huge profit, the face value or the share value of a share in a market will be high or more. But if the company doesn't performs well, the share value of such equity shares falls down. These fluctuations of value of equity share in market makes equity share more appealing for the investors. For example, if I want to make some money from shares or from share market, I will spectate or observe equity share of many companies. I will research on it and I will research on the performance of the company. And wisely, I will purchase the shares when its value is down, and then when it goes up, I will sell it. The difference between the value will be my income. Likewise, many investors they take the advantage of these fluctuations of market value and they earn the money from equity shares. Face value. As we know, every share has its own face value as it is a single part or a single unit of a share capital. The value of equity share is low. It can be rupees 10 per share or even 1 per share. Capital appreciation. When the company is performing well and it is in prosperity stage or a profitability stage, the share value of that company goes up, which also enhances or increases the reputation and goodwill of the company. This capital appreciation can be seen only in equity share capital, due to its risky features. Other source of finance does not have the feature of capital appreciation.